Greetings, everyone. I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Oral Reports. Now tonight, I'd like to introduce all of you to a creepy and kooky family that I got to be part of 6 months ago. Ladies and gentlemen, boils and ghouls, presenting the Addams Family. Created in 1938 by American cartoonist Charles Addams, the Addams Family is an odd, wealthy, aristocratic family who delights in macabre, and they are seemingly unaware or unconcerned that other people find them bizarre or frightening. They originally appeared as an unrelated group of 150 single-panel cartoons, about half of which were originally published in The New Yorker between their debut in 1938 and Charles Addams' death in 1988. Nowadays, whenever folks think of the Addams Family, they can sometimes think of the catchy theme song composed by Vic Mizzy, along with the 1964 black and white live-action TV series created by David Levy and Donald Saltzman. But aside from having a 1977 TV special, there was also a 1991 live-action movie directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, which later got a sequel in 1993. There was also an awful direct-to-video reboot in 1998, directed by David Payne, and a Broadway musical in 2010. Speaking of which, me and my theater friends got to perform this wacky show during the spring of this year. And while I did audition for Lurch, I got to be one of the many Addams ancestors. And in my opinion, it was a fun little experience. Plus, the Addams Family show won Best Show of 2019 during this year's Queen's Ball. However, before 2019 began, I've heard news that the Addams Family would be returning to the big screen, only this time in CGI. Now, like with Oz, the Addams Family is no stranger when it comes to animation. Aside from their comics, Hanna-Barbera made 2 animated shows for the Addams. One in 1973, and another one in 1992. As well as a crossover with Scooby-Doo. But how will this new Addams Family movie be? Will it be freakishly bad or horrendously good? Well, let's find out. Released on October 11th, 2019, the movie is The Addams Family. Now, let's get started, my friends. 13 years after Morticia and Gomez's wedding, the Addams family's lives are turned upside down when they realize the town downhill from them is suddenly full of uptight suburbians led by an over-the-top TV host who is trying to build the perfect world her way. And she'll stop at nothing to get rid of a freaky family like the Addams. If that's not bad enough, Wednesday has to go to public school for her first time, and Pugsley has to prepare for a big mazurka performance that the extended Addams family from across the globe will be coming to judge. What could possibly go wrong during that? So, what do I personally think of the movie? Well, let's just say that this movie is the absolute funniest animated movie I've seen this year. I don't give a drat what anyone says. This is a really funny, wacky, and enjoyable movie. But to further explain why I enjoy the film, let's move on to Mustang notes. In 2010, after acquiring the rights to the Addams Family comics, the film originally began production at Universal Studios and Illumination Entertainment as a stop-motion animated film directed by Tim Burton and produced by Chris Meledandri. However, in 2013, MGM announced that The Addams would be produced as a CGI animated movie, with Pamela Pedler writing the screenplay. In June 2019, it was announced that Braun Creative would co-finance the movie with MGM as part of a multi-picture co-financing agreement with the studio. In October 2017, it was announced that the movie would be directed and produced by Conrad Vernon and Greg Tiernan, who previously directed Sausage Party. Gail Berman and Alex Schwartz would be hired as producers, and Matt Lieberman would make revisions to the film's screenplay. The movie was animated by Cinesite Studios, who previously worked on The Star with Sony and Jim Henson, with Tabitha Schick overseeing the film for MGM. Now, in my opinion, the character animation is very reminiscent to the Addams Family comics, and I think their mansion, which is set in New Jersey, is very creepy and mysterious, with all sorts of weird things, like they have a lion for a pet, they have a man-eating plant named Cleopatra, a polar bear rug, living paintings, a gate that bites, a living tree named Ichabod, and a loud voice telling folks to get out! As for the town of Assimilation, which is downhill from where the Addams live, in my opinion, it kind of looks like your average, typical, perfect suburban neighborhood. As for the story, well, it was okay. It's a bit cliched at times, but mixed with the comedy animation, it's not so bad. Speaking of comedy, most of it comes from the crazy antics that the Addams do throughout this movie, like sabotage, demolition, as well as macabre. Plus, there are a few scenes in this movie that I found very memorable, like Pugsley's mazurka, the scene where Wednesday resurrects a frog, Frankenstein-styled, as well as Morticia and Gomez's wedding at the beginning. Also, this movie has a few references from other horror films, like Dracula, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, It, and a few others. Anyway, now that we're done with Mustang notes, let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. Let's begin with Gomez Addams, voiced by Oscar Isaac. Best known as Saint Joseph from the Nativity Story, and Poe Dameron from Star Wars 7 and 8. And I think he might be in episode 9 this year. Anyway, to me, Oscar Isaac does a great job voicing Gomez, and I think, while he is deeply devoted to his wife Morticia, I think Gomez is a crafty schemer, but also a jolly man in his own way. Though, sometimes he can be a bit misguided, and he can also be very sentimental and often optimistic. Plus, in this movie, Gomez is determined to make sure that Pugsley is deeply prepared for his upcoming mazurka, and he believes that dynamite does not belong in the family. Gomez's wife, Morticia, is voiced by Charlize Theron, best known for playing Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road, as well as playing Jill Young from Disney's Mighty Joe Young, and for voicing Monkey in Kubo and the Two Strings. To me, Morticia is not only beautiful, but she's also a stern and fierce leader. Plus, I think Charlize Theron does a magnificent job while voicing her. However, what I found surprising about Morticia is that she keeps a lot of spiders inside her dress so that she can use them to make a bridge to cross her underground bottomless pit, which she calls surfing the web. Next, we come to my favorite character in the Addams family, Wednesday, voiced by Chloe Grace Moretz. Best known as Little Penny from Disney's Bolt, Darby from My Friends Tigger and Pooh. She also got to be in the 2009 Jack and the Beanstalk movie, along with Tim Burton's Dark Shadows, and the 2013 Carrie movie. Also to note, Chloe will soon voice Snow White in the South Korean animated fairy tale movie Red Shoes and the Seven Dwarfs. Anyway, to me, I think Wednesday has a lot of character development in this movie, due to the fact that, like Mavis from Hotel Transylvania, she wants to experience life beyond her mansion. Also, while Wednesday can be eccentric at times, like when she does a very intimidating stare at her brother when she says that she loves him, I do like the parts where she pranks and tortures Pugsley, as well as her sneaking up on her parents, and when she influences her new friend Parker to be gothic. Plus, I think her octopus, Socrates, is pretty cute. Wednesday's brother, Pugsley, is voiced by Finn Wolfhard, best known from the hit Netflix series Stranger Things, as well as It Chapter 1. And next year, he'll be in the upcoming third Ghostbusters movie. To me, Pugsley is a real prankster, and he's such a riot when it comes to using explosives. Though, I think the scene where he truly shines is when he slingshots bombs in order to protect his family from an angry mob. Next we come to Uncle Fester, voiced by Nick Kroll, who got to be in Illumination's Sing and The Secret Life of Pets 2. In my opinion, Fester is a really fun character, and I think he has some of the funniest lines ever. Plus, he can also be very supportive while helping Gomez get Pugsley prepared for his mazurka. Also, sometimes Fester has a real habit of getting hit by arrows in a few scenes. But the funniest thing that happens to him is when his bathtub explodes, courtesy of Pugsley playing Battleship with Gomez. Next up is Lurch, voiced by director Conrad Vernon, whom I remember as the voice of Gingy from the Shrek franchise. In this movie, Lurch is an escaped mental patient whom Gomez, Morticia, and Thing take in as their butler after they accidentally drive into him. In my opinion, while he doesn't really talk as much, I think he's a very faithful character, and I think Lurch is great at playing the piano and the organ. And I like the parts where he plays the Addams theme song, Green Onions, Pomp and Circumstance, and A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood from Mr. Rogers, which is making me excited to see this movie next month. Another character to talk about is Thing. Now, despite the fact that he was absent in the stage musical, I do like this living disembodied hand. In fact, I want to consider him my third favorite character in the movie, second being Uncle Fester. In my opinion, Thing is a very loyal and helpful character, and some of his actions can be both very funny and cute at the same time. However, sometimes throughout the movie, he wears a watch with an eye on it. Plus, I find it kind of strange that Thing has a foot fetish in the movie. The rest of the family includes Grandmama, voiced by Bette Midler, whom you folks mostly know from Oliver and Company and Disney's Hocus Pocus, and Cousin It, vocalized by rapper Snoop Dogg. Next we come to Parker Needler, voiced by Elsie Fisher. Best known as Agnes from the first two Despicable Me movies. I think Parker is a very relatable character, due to her being neglected and rebellious, and I do like her friendship with Wednesday. Plus, I like that she influenced Wednesday to dress more colorful. Last but not least, we have Parker's mom, Margot Needler, voiced by Allison Janney. Now, to be honest, guys, I'm not the biggest fan of Jenny's acting, since she's previously been a few pain-in-the-neck characters in films like Over the Hedge, the 2007 Hairspray movie, and Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Though, I did like her as Peach in Finding Nemo, and as Ali San in Star Tours The Adventures Continue. Anyway, Margot is a sly and greedy reality TV show host and a homemaking guru. I find Margot to be a very predictable kind of person, due to her wanting everything in her town to be perfect and plastic, and she's determined to rid the town of the Addams mansion when the family refuses to change. But what's even more insane is that Margot has planted hidden cameras in every house that she's designed in town, and has been spreading false rumors about the Addams family through social media. Now that's just pure evil, trust me. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, The Addams Family 2019 is a fun movie and a great film to watch for the Halloween season. And I think it puts a new spin on this creepy and kooky family. The CGI animation is amazing, and it's very reminiscent to the original New Yorker comic strips. The characters are all likable and memorable, except for Margot Needler. The voice acting is spectacular, and the comedy is some of the funniest that I've ever seen this year. Also, I couldn't help but snap my fingers every time the Addams Family theme song came on. So, if you folks are fans of the Addams Family, be sure to give this movie a watch and stick around for the end credits. Plus, I hear there will be a sequel that is scheduled for an October 2021 release. And if that's true, then I heavily await for more Addams fun. I give this movie a rating of 98% out of 100. I know I'll be first in line when it's released to Blu-ray in January. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me again next time. Mustang Power. And remember, When you're in Addams, you do what Addams do or die.